Hello, Ron Briggs, Blackmore, Vale Honey, and welcome back to the channel to what is the November edition of my 1 year in beekeeping. So yeah, 1st of November, it started off on a really nice morning. So we are up in the covered area doing some more box cleaning, and that's pretty much going to be all it is now, cleaning and getting ready for the for next year's season. However, we will need to go into the boxes once more this month, all the bees, to get those Apiary strips out for those that were treated. So we'll start that tomorrow. The weather looks good tomorrow. We'll get up to the Apiary and we'll get those first lot of Apiary strips out. Other than that, it's just keep on cleaning those boxes up. So let's get on with it. Hey Jack, give us a smile. So there we go. Close play today. We've still got loads more to do, but at least we've got ourselves a system now. That Tektron UK wax melter, I'm doing a separate review of it, is absolutely brilliant. Comes out of there. The second basket, when I get the second basket, is going to make such a difference as well. But it comes out of there into the bucket. We let them cool. That's not bad for a few hours work, is it? And it gives you some idea of the frames look. And the amount of frames that we've put through is just, it's just amazing how quick they go through. So yeah, so the idea is it's going into the wax melter, out the wax melter, and then they just go into their piles, scrape loosely, and then we do the unwiring, so just pulling all the wire out, and then once all the wire's out, just stacking it into piles of 10 with some loose ones, just putting a little piece of string and knot around them, and then that's the right size, and I can get 12 or 13 depending on the size into the steamer. So packs of 10 go in straight, and then some loose ones in the middle, so that's why they're tied up like that. And then the boxes that have come out, the polys going into the garage, ready for later on in the off season when we do some chemical treatment, and all the wooden ones you can see there are stacked up, ready for some scraping and torching. So it just rotates it through and just keep it going. But the good thing about having it here now is that the scraping and torching can happen, you know, periodically when we've got a spare hour here and a spare hour there and whatever. You can just go and bang a load out. So yeah, it's the end of the day. It's just a case of rinse and repeat. Morning, and a beautiful one it is too. So we're on 2nd of November. It's about 9:30, I think, 9:30, 10 o'clock in the morning, and we're up at the out Apiary. But what a beautiful day. So this is the first of the nukes. So we're literally just going in to take the row strips out. But isn't it lovely? You get an opportunity just to look in the top. Look at that. That is a good box of bees. That's a good overwintered nuke, that one, I reckon. Right, let's move on. Okay, so taking off these row strips is relatively simple. Christ, these bees are doing well. So out of these nukes, we've done 3. The second one I would normally be really, really happy with, but it's the lightest of the lot of them. But there we are. These, we're going to have to be careful with these in the spring because the population is just going to explode. We'll need to get these into, or put the extension boxes on the top. And then we can see that. Look at the bees up in the feeder. Right. So it's nice and warm. They're flying. It's okay today to go in there, but we don't want to be in there long. But it's great. We just get a quick opportunity to look. God, I love gum them up as well because we haven't been in here for so long, have we? And this is the only, or one of the only downsides of poly. It's not as robust as wood, so you have to be careful, ever so careful when you're removing them. There we go. Right, so we always, on these nukes, we always put the varroa strip in the centre there, but it's well gummed up. So we just got to be a bit careful how we take it out. Oh, girls, out of the way. Got it. There we go. Nice and gentle out. Good. So now we just want to try not to squish any bees. Get them away from the edge there. Right, so all the nukes have been done. They're all okay. There's 4 nukes there. And nuke number 2 that you would normally be absolutely delighted with at the at this stage in the season is the worst of the lot of them. The only problem with that is come spring, those colonies are going to boom if it stays like it is, and then that might give us a whole bunch of different problems. But we'll worry about that next year. Oh, Jesus. This one's heavy. And you see how difficult it is to get into these colonies because we've not been in for a few weeks. Imagine what that's going to be like in the spring. And it's all completely gummed up, which is what they want. Look at that. Look at that for a box of bees. Hello, girls. Hope you can see down in there. That is a lovely box of bees. Look at that. Right, so the only reason we're in here, this is great and it gives us an opportunity to have a look at the colony, but the only reason we're in here is to get these varroa strips out. So nice and gently, I'm not going to use any smoke, I don't think we're going to need it. Got to try and loosen up where the matches were. There we go, even don't matter if we break them. That's only to stop them falling down, but there we go. Now then normally if you just free them at the, might need a bit of smoke, we don't want to squash any of these girls. Just around there. So if you normally free them just at the top where the top bar is, if they won't come out, get hold of it. And there you go, nice and gently out like that. There you go, girls. Thank you. And that's it. Lid back on. Try not to squish any bees if you can help it. See, it's a double-edged sword. I said the temperature's up here is warmer because I've got a fleece on. I'm starting to sweat already, but it's only just warmed up. So these girls, the polys will probably be different, but in the wooden ones, they're just starting to warm up and they need their wing muscles warm before they can fly. So actually, a lot of these colonies are going to appear to be super calm. Well, they are calm colonies anyway, but super calm. It's just because they've not warmed up enough yet to have the ability to fly. The guard bees at the front would have done, but that's nice. So I am going to be keen to have a look at this one. Look at that, there's a lot of dead bees in there. More than what really should be in there. If you look at any other colonies, you get 1 or 2. And sometimes at this time of year, you get a few where they, obviously the colony's getting smaller now, but that's way too many. So there's something not quite right in this colony. So is it because that was all the guard bees and the wasps have been a problem? Although the wasps are still about and they're not going in and out now. I haven't felt the weight yet, that'll be interesting. There are bees still coming and going, so it's actually ideal that we are going in there because we can have a little look, see what's going on. But before we go in, let's just clear out these dead bees. We don't want that definitely left in there. And what I'm going to do as well is, after I've done this colony, I'm going to change my hive tool, and I'm also going to swap my gloves over. Yeah, so because of all those dead bees at the front, once we've inspected this colony, what we're going to do, well, let's do the weight of them. Oh, there's some weight in there, mind. So what we'll do, we'll see what the colony looks like, but then I'm going to go and change my gloves and change my hive tool, because we don't know why they're all dead. Well, there's plenty of bees in there. I was surprised actually. I thought I was going to come in here and see a much smaller colony. Not as many as, like, for example, that were in the pink one. So something's a little bit amiss in there. Might have been a bit of Nasima or a bit of that CPBB perhaps. But anyway, so full size colony, this one. It's got 2 strips in it. So we'll whip those out. That was easy enough, wasn't it? That one and that one. Right, that's it. They've got plenty of stores and plenty of weight in there. Plenty of bees. That's it. That is it. So let's put them back together again. Yeah, so there we go. I've changed the gloves and hive tools. So during the season, I carry a bucket of solution, and either clean the hive tool between hives or swap the hive tools over, but leave them in the solution. But during the winter, I don't carry that solution around because all I'm doing is checking the weights normally. So I haven't got the solution with me. So all we've done there then is I've just put it to one side, and when we get home, we'll drop it in the tub of solution. Right, let's see how they're doing in the poly. This is the first poly. There's a few up in the feeder. So when I was saying before about feeding, so first of all you check the weight. She's heavy. So that's it. So when we go into it, if we just pop the lid, usually in these feeders, you can see if the bees are moving around, or through the holes in the vents. And that's all you need to do. But obviously we're taking Varroa strips out, and on this one, I can't remember where the Varroa strips are because we left this one on brood and a half. So we might have to take the super off this one as well. Oh no, we put them in the top, that's good. Yeah, these old, I think they're Maysmore polyneuts, some of the original ones that come out. The size of them's a problem for me. They're so much wider, even though they're national, they're so much wider, so the stuff don't marry up. But you can't help but knock the fact that they are a good hive, the way the feeders are designed and stuff. Right, let's try and get these out. These ones are going to be a bit more difficult than last ones because they've gummed them up. So same thing with the smoke. We don't need much, just a little bit around where the Varroa strips are. They're still not going to let me. No, you're not taking our honey. Don't take the honey, you horrible person. Oh, damn it. Can I get that back out of there now? Yeah. Ooh, I was lucky. Didn't want that to fall all the way to the bottom. We don't really want to be taking that super off. So, not many bees up in the top of this one, but I know by the weight that there's going to be a lot. Well, there's certainly a lot of stores in here. So what's going on? Is it because this super? I can see the frames are absolutely full. There's plenty of bees in there. The weight's good, so you could be tempted now to pop that and have a look, couldn't you? But why bother? They've got it all sealed up. Lots of stores, lots of bees that we can see. So let's just put them back together. Pains, not Maysmore. Pains. They're the old Pains polys. Right, let's move on. Okay, so this one was one of the light ones. Is it? Yeah, still is. And you remember we had a peek in, those bees in there. We've just been feeding them. But it kind of gives you an indication, doesn't it? If every single colony is like it's nailed to the floor, why is this one not? So it's just an indicator, isn't it? Something we need to be aware of. But there was plenty of bees in there last time. So this is one of the ones we've got to get the feeder off. Yeah, there's no feed. So we want to, let's go and get one of those. I'll be back. I'm back. Yeah, I had to go and get the insulation because once we set the feeder out, we want to put the insulation in this one, as well as having a look inside. Right. Well, there's plenty of bees moving about. Let's see what's going on. Let's just leave you over there for the moment so I can bang you back in afterwards. So I'm going to put some wire mesh over the hole with a couple of pins. And the reason for that is because this one's light, we're going to want to kind of keep an eye on it. So even though we're going to put the insulation on, which will have the board covering the hole, what I want to be able to do is I want to be able to come up and lift that centerpiece out to be able to look down in that hole just to see what's happening with the bees, see what movement we got, see if there's anything going on. Now, I don't know about you, whenever I use drawing pins, I always end up pinning my glove or dropping a lot on the floor. That's the usual for me. Right. Okay, let me show you what I'm doing here. So, as you can see from here, those bees, it's light, this colony is really light, but there's a good amount of bees in there. So anything's wrong is they haven't got many stores and they're not as big as the other colonies, but they're still on like 8 frames, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So they're on to 8 frames of bees, which is good. So what I said about my crown boards though, with just the feeders in the center, this is where the problem could be. If your feeder's in the center, but they're clustering over here, they're not going to break cluster to get to it. So that's why we're going to be adjusting our feeders. But in the interim, in the meantime, we're still using the old ones, which I've used for many years and are still okay. So there's my feeder hole through the center. Can you see I've pinned a piece of Varroa screen on there? Because in the winter I can come along and if I'm unsure, I can just lift the center piece of the insulation out, see through there and see if there's bees moving about. So it just gives me an indication, but we don't need that at the moment. So we put our insulation in. That's our 2-inch insulation. I've got my spare pin in there, ready to pin that when I need to. And then we just sit that back on the top. Right, just I need 2 hands to do that because I don't want to squash bees. So just give me a moment. Right, and then with my fondant, which is in these microwave containers, and if you haven't seen that before, I'll be doing some more this week, so you see that. And all we have to do then is place that upside down in the hole there, and the bees can get to it. And then when we take the fondant out, we've just got to replace that square. So it's not a square, is it? Rectangle. We've just got to replace that in there, and they'll stay nice and cozy. Right, so that's this colony done. Let's move on. Okay, so this is why with smokers going, because even though all those colonies so far have been nice and gentle, this one, still gentle, but they all just, because it's poly, they've probably warmed up a bit quicker. They've all just flown out at me when I've opened the lid. Now they've settled down, now they've all flown out, but it just goes to show, doesn't it? A bit of warmth can do. And obviously, when we're doing this sort of thing, we want to be able to move them around. But a lot of bees in here. They've all moved down now. But whilst they've all moved down, we'll just take the opportunity to give this top a little bit of a scrape. Because and you can tell it's ivy because it's all crystallising. So this was that other light one that we had. Okay, there is bees up in the top. Not many. Let's have a look. What are you doing, girls? Oh, yeah. So it's a bit heavier because they've got more stores. They've got nowhere near as many bees. They're on 4 frames. Let's have a look at these. See, a lot of dead bees in the bottom of this one, but that's potentially because they haven't got enough to supply undertaker bees. Well, that's full of stores, so that's not a bad sign. Old drone brood in there. Right, there's no brood in there. And I'm not seeing a queen either. Okay, so that's dealt with. So we lost that colony. It's always a shame to lose a colony. It's just dwindled. And it was obviously any drones in there. So that's it. We've knocked that one down, shut that one up. Well, what we've done is because the weather's, the weather's so good. I've just taken the opportunity to change my gloves and hive tool again because we've been in that colony. And I've just taken the opportunity to take my fleece off. It's boiling. No wonder they're all blooming flying. Still, so we've dealt with that. So that's 2 in this apiary that we've lost late summer. You know, might have been because they tried to. So it could be any number of reasons. Could be superseded. Could have been unwell. I wouldn't have thought it'd been Varroa because we're pretty good on the Varroa. But anyway, for any number of reasons, that colony is now done and finished. So I've lost 2. I always used to say you need 2 colonies. always you need 2 colonies. If something happens to one, you can fix it with another. I've changed that opinion a little bit. Yeah, 1 or 2 to start with, but very quickly you want to be thinking about moving up to 4, because 4 colonies, then you can learn how to be a beekeeper. With 2, you're just constantly trying to get bees through the winter and desperately trying to get a small honey crop from them. But you go beyond that to say 4, and then you can try things and you can build your colonies up and you can select your best queens and you can make them strong, and then, you know, over a few years you can have some really nice colonies. So the fact that we've lost 2 in an apiary of 10 is not, it's neither here nor there for me, because I've got 4 nukes which are ready to go. In fact, it's not even that, because we've got the ones down at the pumpkins as well. So we did lose 2 from here, but the pumpkins ones can, well, they'll go to the new apiary, then they'll come back up here, because we'll try and start with 10. So what we'll do, we'll take the pink colony and the pumpkin colony, we'll take those to the new apiary, we'll leave them there for a few weeks, and then we'll bring them back up here to bring the numbers up to 10 again. Don't be afraid, if you can afford it, to have a few extra colonies knocking around. Right, so this one, we didn't even feed these, did we? No feeding on this one, because they were absolutely stuffed last time. Yep, and there's no varroa in that one, so we don't need to worry about that. Let's move on to the next one. So look at this, another really nice colony, and it's heavy, another heavy box. So just varroa strip in this one, little puff there, little puff there. That's easy enough, that one there. So 1 out. 2 out. Nice. Just a nice little colony. Away goes. Let's put the lid back on. Let's not squish any of you. Right, so a bit of a varroa mesh on that one. And we're not feeding them, so we'll just put 2 pins in. Beautiful. The one left to do. So that's the apiary done, and I'm really pleased with. There's some really nice heavy colonies up here. Might be a worry come springtime. I think we'll be inspecting at the earliest opportunity, because I've got a feeling these boxes will be rammed because they won't have much space, but that's something to worry about for next year. So all the boxes good, apart from that one which was a dead out, which we've dealt with, but that's going to happen. And don't beat yourself up with that if you lose a colony, because 90% of the time it's not your fault and there's nothing you could have done about it. Just take a look at my nukes, for example. I've got 4 nukes at the end there. Number 3 is from a different queen, but 1, 2 and 4 are all from the same queen. 1 and 4 are absolutely bursting at the seams. Number 2 is okay, but it's not as good. Why is that? They've all come from the same genes and everything. So you just don't know. So as I say, if you lose a colony, don't beat yourself up about it. But what I said earlier about maybe expanding your apiary a little bit and having more colonies will help you learn to be a better beekeeper, and you certainly won't be worried about not getting your bees through the winter. Right, so I'm just doing my last walk now up the line, make sure all the straps are on and everything's good. So that was a good morning this morning. Managed to get up to the out apiary, which is cool. I've got a couple of hours, but I don't know if the weather's going to let me. But we're just getting up here, carrying on tidying this lot up. And the first thing I want to do is tidy up all those frames we just dumped on this part of the driveway yesterday. So the first thing I need to do is get the wiring out, pull the wiring out. But I'm in trouble, I'll be honest with you. She must be obeyed. I'm not in her good books at the moment, because her pottery studio is just there, and doing this has attracted all the wasps again, and some of the wasps have been going in her studio. So she's not happy, and I'm in trouble again. So we need to get this lot sorted. Right, so I will crack on and just start pulling the wires out of these. When you pull the wires out of these, once the wires come out, it's dead simple. If you sort of pull it from the middle first out of one side, and then pull the other side, and you get them clear quite easily. And then what I do is I just dump all the wire loosely on the floor, and then when I've got a load of it, I just squish it all together before I put it in the bin. So 3rd of November, and for once we have got ahead of ourselves on the jarring. So I've just managed to get another couple of buckets jarred up, and I've got no customers waiting. So we're actually ahead of ourselves for once, which is really good news. So what else has been happening? Well, it's a pig horrible day, so we've come up to the honey house, finished off that jarring. Like I just said, we've managed to get ahead of ourselves. We haven't done any of the boxes outside scraping or anything like that because the wind's just coming in sideways. So even under my little undercovered area there, it's too wet to do anything. So we're in the honey house, but some things coming up. We've had some deliveries. So I've seen this. What's an ammo box doing here? Well, that is the new. Check that out. So the new oxalic acid vaporizer. We'll talk no more about that at the moment, and we'll do a little review on that. So that's arrived. The other thing that's arrived is a new one of these blades. What's that for, you ask? That's the old one. So that's for sorting out the fondant, because we've also had 2 packs of fondant arrive, and I cut them up with these. Which is not my idea. This was something that I picked up from Stu at Simply Beautiful Honey. But after you open these packs of fondant, they slowly start to spread out. So by the time you've got halfway through, this, which starts off perfect to start with for cutting, which I will show you, is just a bit too short. You need something just a bit longer. So that's perfect. So I'm hoping for is that be able to use both to cut the fondant up. And the other thing that arrived today was some microwave containers, because that is what we put the fondant in. So we put the fondant into them, put a lid on, so that way we use the whole pack. The whole pack gets sealed and stored, ready for when we want to use it. So yeah, so quite a bit happening, but it's all dry weather stuff, which is really cool. Right, let's get the radio on and crack on. So I'd be better off outside scraping some boxes whilst it's dry and sorting that out. But I've run out of fondant. I want to put some fondant on a couple of those lighter hives. So I need to get this sorted. And to be honest, when you do a block of fondant, it's worth doing it all in one go, getting it into containers. Let me show you. So what I do is, this is the way it arrives in a block. And I cut them down and put them into these microwave containers, put a slab in there, put a lid on, store them like that in a box, and then every time I want a slab, I've got some prepared ready, and I'm not trying to store it all in what's left of the packaging. Now, all the time it's in this packaging, it stays all nice and blocked. So what I want to do first of all is I take the edges down, because it's just easier if you leave it on the cardboard. You don't make so much of a mess, because you can easily throw the cardboard away afterwards. And now the moment we start to remove this, it's quite cool. If we left it cool in here, this will start to sink and move. So this, using one of these, which is a plasterer's knife, taping knife, but it was the biggest one I could get at the time, and you can see it's the right size for cutting. But as this starts to go and starts to move around, this then becomes just a bit too small. So what I've done, I've bought another one. How this is going to work, I don't know. I used to use a bread knife and that used to work really, really well, but now I've got 2 of these. We'll see if we can get away with using that. So we'll give it a go. So the first thing we'll do is cut some of this away. Right, so the way I cut it, I could probably get 2, so to my microwave container, I could probably get 2 loads-ish. That will start to move, you just fill it up. So I just cut it to the thickness of one of these. So we kind of just know where that is. There you go, like that. Now you see that's sticking out the top, so we won't try and put the lid on yet, because what will happen is if we just leave the lid off that will sink down and fill everything up. And if you try and put the lid on now, the lid will end up getting stuck. So I don't know if you can see this now. So see how that is now, and we've only done what, not even a core of it yet, and now that's already started to not melt down, but started to spread out, and it's now almost as wide as that first one I bought. So this was a 12-inch and this was a 14-inch. So if you're going to do this, you want a 14-inch. Let me do it this way, show you what we're doing. 14-inch one is better. Stainless steel. So there we are, so that's the last one done. That was a bit light, but so be it. So, and then clean up, it's really easy. We'll take those, we'll just put some hot water over those, that'll clean those up. Then just trying to slice a bit off and then keep doing the packaging up. So it's much easier to do it this way rather than just trying to slice a bit off and then keep doing the packaging up. So, as you can see, it don't take long to do that. And the beauty of it is that's ready then for all season. This worked well. I'm glad I did that. From previous ones I've done, it's definitely worth that. See, if you're gonna do this, get the 14-inch one. That and a bread knife will do it. And they're so easy to clean up. All you do is you just run some hot water over them. That sort of melts all the fondant that's left on there, and then just wash them up normally. Just put those protective blades back on, protective covers. Job's good. So it's 24 packs we've managed to get done from that lot. And then as you can see there, what I'm going to do is I will just leave that there for a few hours, if not even overnight. And then what'll happen is all that fondant will sink down into the bottom of the pack. Because if I try and put the lids on now, this one for example, that's just sitting proud, the lid will stick to it. And then when you try and take the lid off, it'll have remained stuck to it, and chances are you'll break the lid. So these do come in packs of 25. So 25 of these is perfect for one slab of fondant. What I will say though is get double, so maybe get 50 and have 25 as spare. Now they wash really easy because the lids, you don't really use the lids that much just for whilst you're storing it. And then when you've been round and you're replacing it, that's when I use the lids. I put the lids on then because it's all still a bit sticky in the container. They just pop them not in the microwave. Don't put them in the microwave. Put them in the dishwasher. Pop them in the dishwasher and it cleans them all up. And you'll get maybe 2 or 3 out of them before they eventually break. What tends to happen is if you're scraping out the little bits that are left in, the hive tool ends up going through it. But the problem you have is if you buy just 25 and then you buy another 25, chances are they're not going to be the same, and then you end up with all these random lids that don't fit because they're all slightly different. So there we are. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take a couple of those slabs down to the nukes because they need feeding. Let's go do it. Right, so we're down in the nuke apiary, and I've got these two. These are the only two I'll go through. I think they're both going to need some food. I've taken the straps off, they've hefted them, they've both got a good bit of weight in them, so got no problem there. But they've got Vero strips in, so we need to get those out. And also on this one, this has got one of the feeders from one of the other style of poly nukes. So it's the one that's, well, I'll show you when I get it off. But I don't like to leave that one on through the winter. I prefer the BS honeybee feeders, the ones that have the hole in the centre. to put the fondant over. So we're going to swap that feeder over with this one, and we're going to get the Vero strips out, and we're going to give them both some fondant. So I'm not going to light a smoker. I'm hoping I don't live to regret that, because these bees are usually very calm, but it is quite a chilly day. Well, not chilly day today, but they're not flying today like they have been of late. So let's see how it goes. Hello, ladies. Oh, it's a good old box of bees. So yeah, so that's the type of feeder that was on there. So you can put the fondant on. You can remove one of these and just put the fondant aside. But then, especially come spring, they tend to fill that up with a load of brace comb, or they'll start to try and fill it up as for stores. Whereas the BS Honeybee nuke ones, I quite like that, because it's got the little bung in the centre just for putting the fondant over. Like that. So this one then, we're going to give them a... God, it is full, absolutely full. We are going to give them a little... we're going to give them a feed. But we just want to take the Vero strip. That's the only reason we're in here. Not if for any other reason. We could tell they're doing all right just by the weight of it. But they've still got their Vero strip in. So that needs to come out. And what I said before, nice and gentle. Try not to lose it in there. Rock it about a bit. If you just free it up from the top frame, it usually does it. There we go. Thank you, girls. And that can go back on there. So there we are. So we don't need to, that's the last of the Vero strips out, so we don't need to go into them girls again for well, hopefully not till the spring now. See how they get on. And all we've got to do is go in the top and make sure they've got enough feed. They've certainly got enough weight in at the moment, but I am going to keep feeding them the fondant, or leaving some fondant in there, because I'm a bit worried about these boxes being full of ivy. So we've come up to the new apiary. We thought it might as well, so we've just done the nukes. So as soon as I had all the clobber on, we're not actually going into these ones at all. So usually I like to wear a different or a washed bee suit before I go to each apiary. But all we're doing today is just literally hefting two of them and giving some feed to that little one. So that's it. That's all I'm doing. So let's get on and do it. Not a lot of activity on there, although there was just now when I came up. There you go. And this one. Oh, quite a bit of activity on that one, look. And still bringing in the pollen, the ivy. Right, so I think the plan is then that what we're going to do is we will heft those two big ones, and then this one, we'll have a little look, see what's going on, and we might consider taking that one away with us. So 8th of November, and I've just rocked up at the new association apiary, because I've not been up here for a while. I don't see this, all the scaffolding's down now, the solar panels are on, and it's looking really good inside. I'll show you inside in a minute, but it's looking really, really good. We've come here today just to put the all the security cameras up, which is a really, really good system. It's a system from Ufi. I don't know, I use those at home as well. They run by solar, and you don't have to subscribe. It all goes into your to a home station. So that's really cool. Anyway, we've just fitted all those up now, so we're fully covered on CCTV, which is great. So we're into that. It's in phases, and that's phase 3 that's now finished. So phase 4, which is happening like almost immediately now, is the car park's got to be finished. The outside working area is going to be fitted. There's going to be a couple of shipping containers which will insulate and use them for storage, plus a barn for outside bee maintenance, and then that you can just see that mound of soil, which is all the spoil that come off of this place. That's all going to be removed and flattened for where the bee's going to go. So it's looking really, really good. Let me show you inside. So main room, main area, meeting area. The boys are in here working, and the boys that are working are actually members. So that's you know, which is useful. Kitchen. This is Lee. Lee is one of our members. He's a beekeeper and he's also a painter and decorator. You can't beat that as one of your members, can you? And we've got a couple of toilets at the end here, which is starting to come together now. So it looks like another kitchen, but this is going to be where we extract the honey, etc. So the honey room, and in there, this is quite cool. Well, let's see if we can get far enough back. So in there, there's heating going in there. That's going to be a warming cabinet. It looks like a shower at the moment, but that will be a warming cabinet. And then as we come to here, this is going to be one of the main entrance in, and then this will be a storeroom, but it's also where mission control is. So yeah, it's looking really, really cool, isn't it? Be really good to get those when we get the bees over. The first course is in here in January, or not in here, in this room, but in the main room, and it's the microscopy course. Morning. So we've not managed to get a lot of beekeeping done over the last week, 10 days. Done a few bits. I've been around all the apiaries and hefted all the hives and put a bit of fondant on that one that was a little bit light because I'd taken the fondant down, so that was quite nice. But I'm not going to keep filming that, me just hefting hives. It's just kind of, I don't see the point of that. I don't think you'll get much from it. So we've done a bit of that. We had the exam Saturday. I did module 5, bee biology. So now we've got the long wait to see what the results are. But the weather's been a bit rubbish, isn't it? But I can't complain about the weather when you see what the last storm, I think Storm Carrie or whatever her name was, what she's done in Monmouthshire and everything else. It's just all the flooding. So I can't complain. Yeah, the weather's been bad here, but nowhere near as bad as some of you guys have. But today it's dry. There might be a shower. So we've finally managed to get back up out here and doing another lot of wax melting. I'm hoping we can get all that through today and it'll be the last lot. I reckon I've got about 3 or 4 loads to go through. So I put the wax melter on this morning before I took the dogs for a walk. It's been about an hour and a half and the wax is coming out of it. I don't know if you can see this. This is how much, let me come down a bit. Right there. Yeah, that's how much you've had out so far, so we should get a bit more. So that's going. That'll be another, I don't know, 10-15 minutes before that's finished. So what you need to do is get the next lot done, because what I want to get done today, if I can, I want to get through all the wax melted, because then that's that phase finish. Because after the last lot of wax melting you saw me do, I've managed to get all the frames into piles of 10 ready to go in the steamer. All the wooden boxes have been scraped and torched. Some of them need a lick of paint, but they're ready now to have frames put back in them. They're stacked up in the garage. So we've got that to look forward to. But I want to get the wax done, then that's finished, and then we can move on to the next phase. So that's what I'm doing today. So let's get on with it. So what a cracking day today just to get things done. So we got the last of the wax done. That's all melted. We won't be in this using this again until next year. Just wanted to say that I've done the review on the wax melter, but what I didn't cover on the review, but obviously what I've done now, is the cleanup. So easy. The basket, just give it a scrape with a hive tool, and the lot pretty much comes off, leaves it more than clean enough for the next use. And I've left the water that's in there now is dirty, so I was debating whether to empty it or not. So I think I'm going to leave it in there, and we'll see what it looks like next year, and just maybe boil it up again. So I'll probably give the outsides a quick rub down when it's cooled down. And what I'm thinking, you know those dumpy bags, the ones on dumpy bags, you can get the actual bags, can't you? Well, measuring this, I think one of those would be just the right size. And as this is going to live outside, I might just cover it with one of those. So I'll show you that if I do it. So all the boxes that needed scraping have been scraped and torched, so they're all ready to go. They're now in the workshop. They're going to have a lick of paint, and then once they've been painted, the frames can go in. These frames, once I've boiled them, I don't know how many frames I've got there, but we'll get those boiled out. They can go in. We won't actually put any foundation in them until maybe February time, because it just goes brittle and dry, doesn't it? So yes, but we'll make the frames up. So we'll put those frames in, clean those frames, put them in the boxes, make new frames up as and when we need them, and then we'll wax them, as I said, in February. So yeah, and the other thing we've got to think about over the winter period is getting the poly boxes cleaned with a chemical, but we're in no rush to do that. But that's something else we've got to do. So that's it for today. Sunday roast dinner. Let's go have one. So all the wax is out now. It's all cooling now. That's all just in those 4 there. It doesn't look like much, but it is a lot of wax in there. So what we'll do is we'll let that cool, and then we'll knock it out of the containers, and then we'll weigh it up and see how much wax we got. Hello, so it's the 29th of November, and it just feels like forever since I've done any filming for this edition for November. And it's been about 2 weeks. So it's because we're into that kind of winter fortnightly checks. You don't really need to see me hefting hives all the time. So not really been a lot going on, although there has been something. So we've the new apiary is sort of coming together. We've got shipping containers in there now, and we're starting to move kit down, and we've still got work to do, but that's been going on. I've been away for a week. I've been over to Budapest, been over to the Christmas markets. So no beekeeping at all done there, apart from obviously tasting honey, because we found the honey shop. And some really nice tasting honeys as well. So thank you, Budapest, for your hospitality. That was good. So now we're back, and we're right at the end of the month. So we're going to do all the apiaries today. So today is not very nice weather. Tomorrow's meant to be much better, but I've deliberately come up today because it's 9 degrees and falling, and it's raining. So I'm hoping that there'll be no bee activity, because if that's the case, we can move those 2 hives. So I'm planned and ready to do that. I've got no kit with me at all, so I only plan to heft the hives. I've got a bit of fondant in case that one needs feeding. Got some straps and stuff to move, and that's it. I have got a jacket just in case we need it, but I've got no smoke or anything else. I've got no intention whatsoever of going into the hives today. So even if that one that's looking iffy is showing no activity, we won't go in it today. And the reason I've got next to no kit is because I've emptied out this car. So you won't have seen yet, but we've got a new bee vehicle. We've got a new Beemobile. We've got a pickup. So you'll have noticed that I've got the van and I've got the X-Trail. So I do need 4x4 capability, and today's probably going to be one of those days. But more importantly, I need ground clearance. So I've always been running on 2 vehicles. So what we've done now is the van's gone. We've got a pickup, and we're gonna get rid of the X-Trail. So, but what I'm doing, I'm decking out the pickup at the moment. So, and I'm doing a separate video for that. So it's not really beekeeping, but you might find it interesting. So that's still happening at the moment. So we're in the X-Trail. Once the pickup's been decked out, we can move everything into it, and then we can get this sold. So yeah, so let's see what this apron's looking like. Okay, it's good. So we've just had a quick walk up the line, and the hive that we're moving, there's no activity at all, so I've closed the entrance, so that's good. So now we can just take our time. Why does this not want to go on? It's just been washed, that's why. All the bee suits have been washed, all bee suits and equipment. So I don't like to leave them in the vehicles over winter. They tend to get a bit, if it gets damp, they can go a bit mouldy, so they'll get taken indoors. So I am putting my jacket on. Got no reason why I should need it, other than the fact it's cold. So it might keep us a bit warmer. And also, if it's on, I can just slip the hood up, can't I? So what do we need? We'll put some gloves on. I've got a strap. First thing I'm going to do is go down the line, and just check all the hives, just make sure, heft them. And then looks like we'll be able to get away with reversing the truck all the way up, and then we'll get that hive moved. Okay, let me just show you something. So when I got here, I walked the line. There's no activity, although on all the pollies, there was just one or two just sat outside. So I've just been along and hefted them. And it's a good job I was wearing my suit, because have a look at this one. So got to this one, hefted it, and they absolutely poured out. They came at me, they popped me, didn't sting me, but they popped me. So obviously wearing the suit was easy enough just to put the hood up. Look at that. I've just had a look on things, 8 degrees. It's not raining at the moment, but it's spitting. And look, yeah, this is what I mean. Look, so no activity at all on the woodens, but on the pollies, there's just a tiny bit of activity going on. So, which just goes to show, doesn't it, the insulation value of the poly hives allows them to warm up and be a lot more active on when it's colder. So that's another thing that's a plus for the pollies, isn't it? Okay, so closing up the entrance to these poly ones is slightly different depending on what sort you've got, because the grey entrance, which gives you the ventilation, so you've got the red slider. Well, the red slider can go in, on this one it's red, can go in either way up. So if it was in the other way up, it allows more entrance for the bees, you know, when you close it down, like mouse guard, if you like, because it's got those cassellations, these cassellations in the top of it. So if it was the other way up, whereas this way, when it slides open, reduces the entrance. And because when we moved it down, we did reduce the entrance a little bit. We're fortunate for us, we've left the slide in that way round. So all I've had to do is slide it closed, because I'm guessing that the girls are awake in this one. And if we'd have had to mess around taking the entrance out and moving it round, they might have come out. I was kind of hoping they would a little bit, because it would have meant I could have turned it round, gone and had a cup of tea, and then come back and closed it. But the girls were playing ball today, so all we got to do is strap it. So same thing. What I do to these ones though, to the pollies, I do put some tape over the front of that, because I don't want that entrance thing to jump out whilst we're moving it. So let me get it all strapped up and I'll show you. Keep an eye on that. So that's it. They're ready for the move. Now, when I travel with colonies, I do keep my bee suit on. So I'll keep my jacket on with my hood down, because if you was to get involved in an accident or anything like that, all you've got to do is pull your veil up, because there's going to be bees, not very happy bees everywhere. So yeah, traveling at the very least have a veil ready if you need it. So they're all strapped in. Let's get these back to the new apiary. Okay, so job done. We've got the bees moved up to the new apiary. And now, remember I said I don't need 4x4 that often, but every once in a while I do. So at the new apiary there, I put it into 4x4, but sorry, not the new apiary. At the out apiary, I put it into 4x4 actually at the apiary, but didn't really need it. But when we got down to the pumpkins, there's been a lot of farm traffic up and down there, so I needed 4x4. And this apiary across the field here, I did have to just put it into 4x4, and it's made marks on the grass, so we don't want to destroy the grass. So what I did was I got a friend of mine, picked him up on the way just to help me carry these. So we drove up and we've just plonked them down really easily. But I needed some more fondant for the nuke. So I've been at home and got that, but I'm not going to drive on the grass again. It's a shame because the sheep aren't in here, so it's nice and easy. So it's only a short wander across there. Anyway, so yeah, so we do need 4x4 once in a while. So I've inspected the apiary. Everything's looking good. The new colonies are in. They're opened up. I did want to move this one. Don't know if you remember, sort of back, we had the, it was in this apiary actually, we had a swarm put itself into a box here. In fact, it was into this actual hive, into the hive. It was a swarm that landed and they took up residence. So they were a little bit pingy as a nuke. So I took them to the out apiary because I don't really want to keep aggressive bees here. And they've been kind of fine all season. They're a little bit pingy, not the nicest. I certainly wouldn't use the queen for mating. I wouldn't use her for breeding. But they're okay. They're okay colony. So I didn't really want to leave these ones up here. The only reason I've moved these ones down here is because they were on a nuke stand temporarily in the out apiary. But I want to move them right to the other end of the apiary. And obviously, because I'm not there every day to move them a metre a day, then I thought I'll move them here. And then later on in the season, we can move them back again. But if the ground's going to stay like that, we'll probably leave it till in the spring if we need to. So all I need to do in this apiary, I've already had a little look. I did think that it's really light, there's kind of nothing in there, but there's bees in there and they have taken all the fondant down. So it kind of makes sense that we'll just feed them again. This was that colony that was in a full-size colony and it wasn't doing so well. So we've put it down into a nuke before the winter. And they seem to be all right. I'm not going to go into them and have a look at them, but we are going to feed them. There's still plenty of bees in there. There we go, simple as that. So the other thing that's amazed me is we had it so hot, didn't we, in the summer? And with the sheep up here rubbing themselves up against this fence, it got really, really loose. So I figured that come autumn, winter, I might have to do some remedial work, but it's completely solid again now. How funny. The bees are flying down here. They're generally calm bees here, so shouldn't need to put a veil up, but we'll see. So I am going to now start fondant on these girls. Yeah, they got a bit lighter now because they were big colonies. There wasn't that much room for stores, so they've still got fondant in there which they're eating, but they're extremely active, extremely busy. But because this is the at home, I can come down here anyway and check on these. So there's still fondant in that one, so we don't need to give them any. A little bit left for them to finish off. Oh, this one's heavier than that one. And yet, that one was active and this one wasn't. Oh yeah, they need some. So we'll just put our veil up. Because they're quite active and I'm about to take the container off to replace it with the other one. So I anticipate that we'll get some activity. Let's have a look. Okay, girls. So that's it now. I will continue to feed the nukes now all winter if they need it. I mean, bear in mind, this has been 4 weeks since we put some fondant on and there's still plenty left in there. They've taken that one down. If they want it, they'll take it. If they don't, they won't. So that's it. That's November finished. We managed to get all that onto one video. Probably be the same for December. So yeah, quite a busy month. Not as busy as it has been. We're kind of just getting into that winter routine now. So new truck behind, look. So there'll be another video coming out very shortly about decking that out. Might interest you, may not. So yeah, have a look at that one if you want to. And we'll get on with December. So coming up in December, same old thing really. It's going to be once a fortnight we'll get up to the hives and just heft them, make sure they're all right. We need to start feeding the nukes now on a regular basis. Still loads of cleaning to do. I think the next thing we need to do is paint a few hives and then we'll get those frames cleaned up and then we've got the hives for the frames to go into. That's got to be done. Still a bit of wax work needed to be done. In fact, we've got some a new boiling vessel type thing for that. Say new, second hand, but we'll give that a go next month, see what happens. So yeah, just got to keep on doing it. So that ends the video. As always, I hope you're getting something from it. I hope you're enjoying it and we'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.